Established in 1994, the Palmetto Trail is designed to be the flagship hiking trail that traverses the beautiful state of South Carolina. The Palmetto Trail is the largest pedestrian and bicycle trail in the state. Totaling 500 miles when finished, the trail will stretch from Awendaw, just outside of Charleston, to Walhalla in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Currently, 350 miles are completed and being maintained by volunteers and supporters of the trail and its mission. These volunteers are led by a handful of coordinators that help to ensure that the goals and missions of the trail are met, as well as maintaining those stretches that currently exist. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to meet a few of these coordinators to learn a little more about the trail and its history.
My name is Furman Miller. I am a Regional Trails Coordinator with the Palmetto Conservation Foundation, focusing on the Palmetto Trail, completing that process, getting the trail, all the passages in, upkeep, maintenance, and all that sort that goes along with having an outdoor recreational activity. So I've been associated with the trail since 2004. Working our first passage was the Peak to Prosperity passage. Enjoyed it so much I've continued to be involved, and we are now looking at opening our 30th passage this year, topping 400 miles worth of a projected 500-mile cross-state hiking and biking trail.
The plans in place all sound very good. The strategy is there. But what is holding this organization back from completing the trail?
One of the key factors is being able to get access to the property in order to connect the different passages. So we're looking to work with landowners to establish easements, which will allow us then to establish the trail route. One of the gaps is right above Columbia here, a little north of Columbia, that we're working with landowners to try and close that gap. We have several in the upstate that we're in the process of negotiating the easements and getting those closed. We do have some permitting in process with one that would connect us to the Wateree Passage down below Columbia here. So all exciting, a lot of work going on, and just hoping to continue to partner with the various landowners and agencies and all, and get these passages in so we can have a continuous path across the state.
So a common theme is the issue of permissions by landowners to utilize their property for public use. This permission comes in the form of easements, which are granted by the landowner, and these are oftentimes donated to the trail, but sometimes there may be costs involved. But how does the Palmetto Trail receive its funding? Rachel Price, the AmeriCorps director for the Palmetto Trail, explains.
Get some dollars from the state. We are a recurring line item on our state's budget. That's $300,000, and that allows us to put that up as match against some of the other grants that we use funding on for capital trail projects. So we're looking to increase our private donors and individual giving and sponsorships. That's something that we are looking into very hard right now. How can we increase those things? We are pretty successful and efficient in our grant pursuits, but then every nonprofit in South Carolina is asking for those dollars. So we need to find a way to get the community members of South Carolina invested in this project and willing to give as individuals, whether that be on an annual basis or a monthly basis. Every dollar helps. So even if it's a small amount, if we could get that commitment, and it also shows community support, because this is South Carolina's trail. It will be, when it's finished, one of only 16 cross-state trails in the country. So it's a huge deal. It's something that we should be proud of as South Carolinians. So how can we as South Carolinians invest in that?
So how can South Carolinians help to complete the Palmetto Trail? While we can't all fund a building project or have some family property laying around, finishing the trail might just come down to ensuring that the landowners who donate their land know that the Corps will be good stewards of it through maintenance and improvements. Misconceptions about how the trails are built and how they're used causes the most common gripe heard from landowners.
In 99% of the case, it's not a lot of construction that we're talking about doing. Some folks think you'll come in and bulldoze a big trail or whatever. No, most of the case it's just a hiking path that crosses the property. We strive to be good stewards. We take good care of the property. We monitor it to make sure that it's not, there's no severe or negative environmental impacts to the trail passages as where we locate them. So it's really important that we're able to partner up with those folks to allow the access to that property in order for us to complete this, to make this a continuous asset for the state of South Carolina.
That makes the volunteers and community members who maintain the trail some of the most beneficial players in the mission of completing the trail.
I'm Brandon Jackson. I'm the volunteer coordinator for Palmetto Conservation Foundation and the Palmetto Trail. What I do is coordinate all of our trail volunteer activities, and that ranges from trail maintenance and building new trail.
So it seems maintenance on the trail is one of the most important factors that can play into getting the rest of the trail finished. So, on a cool fall morning, a dedicated crew of volunteers arose early to meet at the Palmetto Conservation Corps' home in Columbia, South Carolina. The small crew piled into trucks headed to the watery passage of the Palmetto Trail, about 45 minutes away. They are about to rake and blow leaves off of bridges built along the Palmetto Trail. Maintenance is one of the biggest factors in helping to complete the trail, even greater than establishing new trail. Maintaining the current system demonstrates the stewardship the Palmetto Conservation Corps offers to the land of those who allow an easement. To conclude, you can tell that one of the most important factors to completing the trail is showing respect for the existing lands that are utilized by the Palmetto Trail, demonstrating that the trail does in fact have a positive presence in the community and that the Corps and citizens alike will take on the responsibility of stewardship for the land, encourages donors to create the easements needed to close the gaps on South Carolina's Palmetto Trail.